A few years ago, we saw Disney shrink Finn on the Force Awakens Chinese poster to appease the market they most wanted money from. They said for years they wanted to promote things like inclusivity and diversity with their movies. They even made the sequel trilogy's main character a female because anyone could be a lead character in their big blockbuster franchises. But they thought that people were dumb and wouldn't notice the fact that they changed the movie poster around so that people in the Chinese market would go and buy tickets to see their movies. And a very similar situation is now happening with Warner Brothers and Dune because the character they race and gender swapped specifically for inclusivity and diversity has been completely removed from the movie poster in certain regions. Really quickly though, before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting via memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. Now, I wanted to start off with this Breitbart article, and agree or disagree with Breitbart's politics, it doesn't have much to do with this. It's a pretty cut and dry situation, and I could really only find their article on the subject, so I wanted to reference it. It says, Chinese Dune poster removes black actress Sharon Duncan Brewster. It says a promotional poster for Warner Bros. Science fiction epic Dune, produced for the Chinese market, has removed a black main character from the image, drawing comparisons to similar treatment of Star Wars actor John Boyega. I remember talking about this situation. It upset a lot of people, and over the years he has said that he was really disappointed with the way that Disney treated him over the situation. But it says a Chinese promotional poster for the remake of Dune failed to feature, of course, Sharon Duncan Brewster, despite her being prominently displayed in the original American version. Other Chinese promotional materials for the film have also failed to include the British actress. Now, of course, we see companies all the time say they stand for inclusivity and diversity, and this character, Dr. Liet Kynes, was actually raised and gender swapped for this film, and a lot of people were rightfully so really upset with that. Originally, Dr. Liet Kynes was a white male, and of course they changed the character around and even said, well, the character could be played by anyone, so we figured why not change it up a little bit. That upset a lot of people, but now they're failing to represent the actress in certain regions. Goes on to describe Dr. Liet Kynes, saying a character who ironically was described as a white man in the original Frank Herbert novel of the same name. This is the North American poster, and I actually like this poster. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty basic, let's be honest. It features all of the main characters. Even though the film was mainly about Lady Jessica and Paul Atreides, it's fine. These are all characters that show up a couple of times, and this, of course, is the Chinese movie poster, and clearly there is a character missing here. Instead of Dr. Liet Kynes, they actually decided to add in one of the Atreides doctors that actually betrays the family during the movie. Spoiler alert, if you haven't read Dune or seen any of the iterations of Dune. And it also shows the battle for House Atreides in the background. I don't necessarily think that this is a bad poster either, but clearly this character is missing from it. The article does go on to compare the situation with the Force Awakens controversy. It says the removal of the actress is reminiscent of a 2015 Chinese promotional poster for The Force Awakens, which was slammed for being racist after it was revealed that the Chinese poster shrunk the size of Black British actor John Boyega from the original. And this situation is actually different because they didn't even shrink her in this poster. In the Force Awakens poster, they just moved around Finn and shrunk his image a little bit. But in this poster, she is completely removed. And I actually made a tweet about this and said, they gender and race swapped Dr. Liet Kynes to promote diversity, yet they removed the character from the Chinese version of the poster completely. It's the Force Awakens all over again, but even worse in this case. It's like they think we can't see through their BS pandering. Things like inclusivity and diversity are great and they are perfectly fine in movies, but the people running these companies don't actually care about representation. They care about making money. At the end of the day, they're a company and their number one priority is making enough to pump out their next products. I know that people end up fanboy or fangirling over certain companies and they want to support all of their stances and products, but people need to realize these companies are just companies and they'll never care about making real change. They care about looking good and selling products. So if thousands of more people will go and see a movie because they race and gender swapped characters, or because they removed an actor from a poster, they're going to do it. A lot of people were really upset with the fact that they race and gender swap this character because they're basically disrespecting the original source material. And I agree, when you're going into something and doing remakes and reimaginings, you should respect the characters that are already there. And they went into this knowing that they wanted to race and gender swap Liet Kynes, and this was their reasoning. I figured I would show it off really quickly. I have previously talked about it in a video, but this was a tweet from a couple of months ago. It says, Dune first look. Sharon Duncan Brewster portrays Dr. Liet Kynes, a role previously depicted by a white man. She keeps peace amongst many people. Women are very good at that, so why can't Kynes be a woman? Why shouldn't Kynes be a woman? And my argument is the fact that because in the source material, Dr. Liet Kynes wasn't a woman. You should go into it respecting source material, respecting the characters that already exist, and keeping them as close to that material as possible. Yes, Kynes could have been a woman, but Kynes wasn't written originally as a woman. And it's important to note that this franchise has a lot of strong women. We've got Lady Jessica, the Bene Gesserit. We have Aaliyah. She wasn't in this film, but she'll be in the next one. We have Chani. We have so many strong female characters. It didn't really matter if we added another. They could have just kept this character a white male, and it would have been perfectly fine. And I talked about this situation when it first happened. That video will be linked down below, but the screenplay writer had said of all the messages in the story, the message brought by Liet Kynes of planetary stewardship, of the preciousness of resources, of the necessity of building bridges to local communities to sustain ourselves going forward, those are modern messages, and it seemed right to modernize the messenger. I personally hate when writers go into situations like this. They take source material and basically throw it out the window. I want them to respect the material that already exists, but the Fremen's whole existence was always fighting against oppressors, but they leaned heavily on that in the movie to probably make a social commentary, because it's not like it wasn't that way in the books. They just made sure at the beginning of the movie, bam, you understood the Fremen. Chani talks about who will our next oppressors be, and then of course, Liet Kynes was made a black woman, so it's not surprising why so many people are saying it's a woke movie. Dune already had a ton of themes that could be considered woke. There's very powerful women. There's oppression that needs to be defeated. There's people of all kinds dealing with political issues that pertain to the story, but it's probably why they decided to take Dune in 2021 and reimagine it yet again. It's so disappointing to see companies do this over and over, to not learn from past mistakes or see controversies that happen and go, wow, we really don't want to be that way, because that's exactly what's happening with this situation in Warner Brothers. They are following in Disney's footsteps by completely ignoring the fact that this character exists in this poster to hopefully make more money in the Chinese market. And it's even worse because, again, in the Force Awakens poster, they only shrunk Finn. In the Dune poster, they completely removed Liet Kynes. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.